Welcome in if you're new. My name's Cecilia and I bring yoga each month. For this month, I figured we could do something more geared towards walking or running. My mom, my sister, and I have been doing a step challenge this past month, so I figured moving into August, it might be great to add some stretching in. And I know we've got a pretty active community, so I just wanted to offer something that could be useful to what you're already doing. Grab all the cozy things, the comfy things. You don't necessarily need a mat or blocks or anything like that, but if you have one, that's great. Grab pillows, blankets. I am going to demo this on the ground. This is going to be mostly a floor flow today. And we're going to start laying down. So when you're ready, join me on the mat. I'm going to stay seated though for this first part as I guide you, but feel free if you want to lay down, go ahead and you can just extend those legs out, those arms out, whatever feels comfortable for you. And as you settle into that posture, that sort of shavasana, a resting posture, allow yourself to take note of your space. I know you're in your space every day, but just allowing yourself to really fully be in this space so that you can bring sort of calmness, balance as you rest in this opening posture. And if you'd like, you can soften your gaze, you can close your eyes. I'm going to keep my eyes open as I guide us, but you are more than welcome to close your eyes. This is your practice, so do what feels best for you. If at any point something feels like, that's not for me, that's totally okay. And as you continue to settle in, allowing yourself to just notice what you notice. Are you tensing through your body as you're laying outstretched on the floor? If you are, see if you can bring a bit of softness to your body, allowing your shoulders to be heavy so that they are pressing more towards the floor instead of you trying to hold them away from the floor. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes so that you make sure you're not clenching your hands into any fists or clenching through the feet. Even allowing the quads to be soft here. Working your way back up through the throat, allowing yourself to notice, what are you doing with your jaw? Are you clenching your jaw? If so, see if you can bring a bit of space between the upper jaw and the lower jaw. Allowing your cheeks to be soft, allowing your eyes, your eyelids to be soft, even your forehead. And if you'd like, taking a nice big inhale in through the nose and exhale, sigh it out. Noticing the sturdiness of the floor beneath you and allowing yourself to sink further into that support so that you can allow that softness from the crown of your head all the way through those fingers, down through the torso, down those legs, all the way to the toes. And if you'd like, take another big inhale in through the nose and exhale side out. And as you continue to breathe here, start thinking of what it is that you would like to get out of this practice. Maybe a stretch. Maybe you want to focus on breathing. Maybe you just want to focus on being present. Whatever that is, set that intention. And from here, start to bring some movement to your head, shifting your head side to side, massaging the back of the head here. Maybe starting to wiggle those fingers and toes. And then we're going to move into our asanas, our postures here. So we're going to stay laying down on the ground. I'm going to join you, but I'm just going to demo this first. We are going to do like a reclined tree here, or like a half shoelace here, whatever lineage you come from. If you're familiar with yoga, there's different names for different things depending on your lineage. So if you need to like tuck a pillow or a block underneath you, you can. But we're just going to allow, just starting to open the hips here. So I'm going to lay down here and I'm going to bring my right foot in. And if it feels good to hold onto the outside, you can. Or like I said, if you have your blocks and you want to, or a pillow or a blanket to roll up here, feel free. And your hands can just rest comfortably wherever that is for you. Maybe across the stomach, maybe in the creases here of the hips, or out to the side. And take a nice big inhale in. And exhale out. We'll be here for 2 more breaths. And then carefully, you can help that leg up if you would like, bringing that foot up. And we're going to extend it long. Just taking a moment to notice the difference in the sides. And then I'm going to bring my block around to the other side. So this time, bringing my left foot in. And you might notice, if you're like me, one side might be a little more open than the other. So if you use your block or your pillow, you might have a different setting on one side than the other, and that's totally okay. Allow this side to be new instead of comparing it with what you just did on the other side. And take a nice big inhale in. And exhale out. We'll be here for about 2 more breaths. And then carefully bring that leg back up. You move your block or whatever you're using out of the way. Bring both feet flat on the mat. I'm going to turn onto my right side here. If you want to use your pillow or blanket for support here, I'm going to just use my hands and we're going to extend our legs out long. If this feels awkward, you can always bring your legs a little forward here to the corners. You're going to place your hand at your low back to make sure that your hips are stacked over each other. A lot of times we'll be a little further back than we need to be. So this is a good gauge sometimes to make sure that your hips are stacked. You can bring your hand in the front here. We're just going to do some movement for the hips. So we're going to bring our knee up like we're pedaling a bike or doing high knees, and then extend our leg long. And then bring that knee up and extend that leg long. One more time, bring that knee up and extend that leg long. And then we're going to lift the leg. Toes are pointing forward and lower. And lift. And lower. And then that top leg, you're going to bend and place your foot down on the ground. And breathe here. If you need to wiggle a little back and forth here, you can. And then extend that leg back out. And then you're going to bend both knees. We're going to breathe here for a moment. And then we're going to carefully roll onto our backs. So this top leg, this was my left, is going to still be doing the work. Both feet are flat. And extend your left leg up towards the ceiling, flexing through the foot, and then pointing, using your ankle here to flex and point, flex and point. And then flex your foot, and you're going to bend the knee and bring it over that right knee. Now this may be enough for you here. You can gently press your left knee out with your left hand, or if you'd like to do like a reclined pigeon or thread the needle here, or a figure four, whichever name you'd like to call it. Your right leg can be bent, or you can extend it up towards the ceiling. It's up to you. Nice bit of space between the upper jaw and the lower jaw. And continuing to breathe here, holding the posture, not your breath. And carefully unbind. If you took the bind, lower the foot down. Extend your left leg back up towards the ceiling and plant it down. We're going to do the other side, but I'm going to swing myself around here so that I'm not showing my backside to everybody. So starting again up here. If you need to, bringing your feet to that front corner and then placing your hand on your low back here, making sure that your hips are stacked, that you're not leaning back. Placing your hand in the front here. And we're going to bring that knee up like we're about to pedal or doing high knees, and down. And bringing your right knee up and down and up and down. And this time lifting, toes are pointing forward and lower. So you don't have to lift very high here. Lift and lower. And then bending the knee and placing the foot flat. You can wiggle here if you need to. Another option, if you prefer to place it in the front, that's a little awkward for me, but that is an option. Breathe. And then extending your leg back out, bending both knees, pausing here for a moment. And then carefully coming onto your back. Adjusting your clothing if you need to. So sticking with that right leg. Extend your leg up towards the ceiling, flexing through that ankle, and then pointing, flexing, and pointing, flexing, and pointing. You're going to flex your foot, bend the knee, and bring that ankle over the left knee. Once again, checking in to see how this side feels and doing what's best on this side. If you'll notice, my hip is not as open on this side, so I don't need to thread my arms through for this side, but you do have that option. You can thread through here, or you can lightly press. Doing what's best for this side today. Continuing to breathe here. Holding the posture and not your breath. Carefully unbind if you threaded your hands through. Extend your right leg back up towards the ceiling, and then place the right leg down on to the mat here, the right foot, I should say. And then allow your knees just to go side to side. Let's do a small movement here, so not super big. More so massaging that low back here as you move side to side. And then finding stillness here in the middle. We're going to roll onto our stomachs. I'm going to swing myself around though. And if you have like a pillow or a blanket handy and you want it, you can grab that. We are going to first bring our feet to the corners. So tops of the feet press down into the floor, making like a little V here. And we're going to make our Ivy Martini arms here and place your forehead down. And then you can keep your forehead down. I'm just lifting my head up so that I don't sound all muffled while I speak. But bring the legs closer towards the middle, closer towards each other. And then you're going to bend, flex the left ankle and bend at the knee. And then switch. We're just going to switch back and forth here. Continuing to breathe. One more on each side. then lower both legs down. So we're going to do a quad stretch if it feels good for you. So option to bend the knee and stay here. Or if you can reach back and breathe. Last breath here. You can let go of the foot. And then other side. So option to bend and stay here. Or if you can reach, grabbing a hold of that foot or that ankle. And breathe. Last breath here. And carefully release. Bring both arms stacked again. You're going to bend the knees once again, and you're going to shift your hips side to side here. Just back and forth. Going at your own pace. And last breath here. Bringing the legs back to the middle and then lowering one leg back down at a time. And just like we did earlier, we're going to do that reclined sort of tree pose. So a couple options. You can come into more of a Sphinx posture here by having the shoulders and the elbows in line, fingertips spread out wide, engaging the glutes here, and then bringing that left knee out to the side here, almost kind of reminiscent of a shooting posture here, and you can have the leg out as far as you need. You can bring it in, whatever feels best for this side. If it's better for you, you can stick with the Hydra Medini arms and be here. And if you're on a hard surface, you can, if you have a pillow or a towel or something, you can place it under the knee here. I'm gonna be here. Gaze is maybe towards the top of your surface here. One more breath here. And then carefully extending that leg long. And then we'll do the other side. Once again, allowing this next side to be new. So maybe different from the side you just did. Again, you can have those Sphinx arms or come down. Doing what feels best for this side. One more breath here. And then carefully extend that leg out. You're going to place your hands this time under the shoulders. Curl the toes under. We're going to press into a tabletop. Making sure that knees are in line with the hips, wrists are in line with the shoulders, and that your fingers are spread out. So I'm spreading my fingers out on my surface here and sort of gripping with my fingertips to help keep myself from loading everything into the palms and wrists and then sort of collapsing. So if that's not great for you, you can make fists. Another option is if you have like 2 blocks or 2 similar sized really sturdy books, placing those, still spreading the hands out and then placing those on the blocks for the books. Take note, if you have any sort of hip issues, this does sort of shift your center of gravity and shift your weight a little more into the hips here. So keep that in mind as you practice if you need to. And we're going to uncurl the toes, tops of the feet press into the mat. And breathe here for a moment. And then if you'd like, adding in our cat and cow. So as you inhale, allowing the belly to soften, chin to lift. And then as you exhale, bringing the belly button in towards the spine, tailbone reaching long down towards the earth, chin in towards the chest. Inhaling. And exhaling. And if you come from a Pilates background, I know sometimes we do the breath opposite for a sort of cat and cow. So if that feels better for you, that is okay. This is your practice, so do whichever one feels best for you. Going at your pace, you don't have to match me. But wherever you are, let's do one more full cycle of our cat and cow. And then come back to that neutral spine. Curl your toes under. You're going to shift your hips towards the toes or towards your heels and then come back. So starting to get a little bit of stretch into those toes, maybe into the pads of the toes. Shifting back and forth here. If it feels good for you, you do have the option to hold here. So if you want to just stay here and hang out here and breathe through the stretch, you can. Or you can stay like I'm going to stay and shift back and forth. And let's come back to our tabletop. Uncurl your toes. Couple options here. You can sink back into a low kneeling, or if it's better for you today to be here, that's also fine. We're just going to take a moment to roll out our wrists. And then we're going to come back to our tabletop. But I'm actually going to flip around because if you're close to a wall, you may want to use your wall here. It's just a different way to do the stretch that I'm about to show you. So coming into all fours here, I'm going to extend. This is my right leg, back. Toes curled, and you can shift back and forth here. If you're close enough to the wall, you can extend your leg onto the wall here and sort of stretch and bend this way, if that makes sense. Either way, I'm going to move forward enough though so I don't want to kick my wall. I'm extending and just shifting back and forth. If that doesn't feel great to you, another option could be side to side here. And then bringing your knee back in, other side. So you can go back and forth here or side to side. And then carefully coming in. Once again, you can sit back on your heels or come into that high kneeling. Roll out the wrists. And then we're going to have a seat. So whatever's comfortable, if you want to grab a chair or sit on the floor, it's up to you. We are going to start with the wrists again, and then work our way up into the shoulders. So clasping the fingers and then just sort of making this figure 8. And then seeing if you can go the other way. Sometimes I really have to stop and think. And then for our next one, clasp your hands again. Note your comfortable way of clasping, right? And then see if you can clasp the other way. It's gonna feel weird. If it's too weird, you can switch back. And once again, that sort of figure 8 here with the wrists. Sometimes this is a little bit of a gentler way, switch directions to help roll out the wrists. We're going to focus just a bit on the back here. Let that go. Shake. Feed the chickens. Okay. I'm going to make a small V here with my legs. Flexing through the ankles here. Sitting up nice and tall. You're going to inhale and exhale. And then you're going to hinge at the waist. So imagine we're standing and doing this stretch. So instead of rounding at the back, hinging at the waist, you should feel a little bit of stretch maybe up through the calves or even the hamstrings here. Or you may not. But focusing on that hinge instead of rounding. Breathing here. And then drop your chin. And then carefully lift your chin. Carefully walk yourself up. Move your blocks out of the way if they're in the way like mine were. You're gonna bring your hands behind you, bring the feet flat, and then just a little windshield wiper here. I'm wearing my squeaky pants today. Fun. Okay. And then we are going to come into a sort of hip flexor stretch. Couple options. If you need a wall and you're close to a wall, you can be in this high kneeling position here, and you're going to send, this is my left, but you can send your right or your left forward. And then, so right now I'm at a 90 degree. And you can shift the hips forward to start to get a stretch through that groin here, the hip flexor. Being careful not to bring your knee over your toes here. Another way to get into this, you can be on all fours here, and then you send your foot to the outside of your hand, and then you can come up, and ta-da! Here we are. Same thing, you can press. It's like you're pressing your hip forward here so that you get that stretch. You may even feel that stretch down into your quad. And then we're going to switch sides. So if you need to trade places on the wall, you can. Or if you're on all fours here, just bringing the other hand or other foot to the outside of the hand and coming up and pressing through that hip. And breathe. And then I am going to face forward for this other one. We're going to do that again, but we're going to add on to it a bit. So I'm going to face forward. I am going to bring my left forward here. And then I'm going to bring my arms overhead, and I'm going to stretch towards the left. So I'm getting a stretch through here. And breathe. One more breath here. And coming back up. And then other side. So I'm bringing my right foot forward this time. And then I'm bringing my arms up again. And then stretching over to the right. If this feels too intense, you don't have to do it. I'm breathing through it. One more breath here. And then coming up. And release. Take a moment. Let's have a seat. Allowing yourself to just settle into this posture for a moment. Sit however is comfortable for you. So if you want to extend your legs out, you can. And let's take some half head rolls here. So allowing your right ear towards the right shoulder. And pairing this with your breath. And inhale. And as you exhale, allow your chin to come down towards your chest and the left ear to the left shoulder. And then just back and forth here. And then allow your chin to come down towards your chest and hold here. If it feels good for you, you can cross your arms and get a little extra stretch through the shoulders and upper back. Uncross the arms and lift the head. And we're going to work our way back down onto the ground just like we started. So coming back down. A couple options here. You can heel toe the feet out to the side and allow the knees to fall in. Or if you want to do like we did in the very beginning, you can extend your legs out long. You can absolutely stay here. I'm just going to sit up as I guide this last bit of our practice together. So this time, noticing how that posture feels compared to how it was when you started. Noticing if you feel maybe a little more stretch or softness through your body. What areas feel softer? What areas still maybe need a little bit of love and support and attention? And as you settle into this resting posture, you can soften your gaze, close your eyes. Really lean into the support beneath you. Noticing the points of your body that are in contact with your mat or your blanket or the ground. Really lean into those supports so that you can be soft and soak in this practice that you've just done. And if you'd like, take a nice big inhale in and exhale out. Reminding yourself as you breathe here what your intention was. And if you forgot it, that's okay. Maybe you can set an intention for the rest of your day, the rest of your week, your month, whenever it is that you do this practice. Allowing yourself to settle further into this resting posture. Take another inhale in and sigh it out as you relax into it. And we'll be here for about 10 more breaths, but feel free to stay here as long as you need. Like if we end our practice and you feel like you still need to be in this posture, then that's what you do. Couple more breaths here. And before we start to close out our practice, bring to mind something that you're grateful for today. And from that place of gratefulness, start to allow some gentle movements, maybe wiggling the fingers and the toes, maybe a nice stretch overhead. And then maybe bringing the soles of your feet flat on the mat so that your knees are bent, and then rolling onto one side, the left or the right, whichever one calls to you. Taking a few breaths. And if you're ready to close out your practice today, press up into a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands out to the sides. We'll inhale our hands up. Exhale them through cactus, bending at the elbows. Inhale them up. And exhale, bend. A little bit of a shift. Inhale them up. Bringing the hands together. Exhale. We're going to stop here at our forehead. This is your gentle reminder to speak or to think positively about yourself, to yourself. Pausing at the mouth now to speak positively about yourself, to yourself and others. And then pausing at your heart here, you can press your thumbs here into your heart space, or one hand over the other, or hand over the stomach, hand over the heart, whatever feels best here. Your gentle reminder to extend to yourself the same love and grace and kindness that you extend to others. Let's take one more inhale in and exhale out. I hope you enjoyed today's practice. I hope you have a great August, and it's always a pleasure. Om Shanti. Peace.